maybe if you want to give just a kind of baseline breakdown of what it is you kind of do that's unique and what you think is different from so many other different skills coaches, because there's kind of, there's so many different skills approaches, and I'm just curious what makes yours and your approach different.
Well, to be honest with you, I can describe it just generally. I
Yeah.
know it's not a perfect description of what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying through my, I will say, unique program to develop individual skill of the player, including on ice skill, off ice skill, and personal skill like a human. So it's all components together. So I'm trying to be a boss, and at the same time I'm trying to be a friend with anybody who coming with me.
Yep.
Yes, I'm sometimes demanding coach, sometimes I'm really friendly, and so it's up to the group, it's up to the level of the kids present. So, but generally I'm working on individual skill development. I develop the body and adjust them to some kind like prototype of the perfect player. Yeah, every single player in the world is unique. Even professional players, even they look similar, but they all unique. So you can't compare it like Matthews and McDavid. They unique. They both big stars. They both doing something what we like as the hockey fans, but they totally different. But if you put them together and mix them, Matthews and McDavid, somebody will tell me no, maybe no, like physically, and it's no chance. But in my work, I'm trying always to find a way to get stronger sides of any player and put them together like a make a kind of like a superhero, super hockey player, and combine the best quality of different type of players. That's and I definitely create some programs for individuals. I create the programs for the youth and detect the weaknesses. I work on with the weaknesses. Now, that's how you make a complete player. You make him add something and what he present. No, like usually youth player coming to you, she want to impress you with something he or he knows already. He want to impress how good he's shooting or how fast he's skating. But it's like, I'm different because I look at him and say, okay, you're doing this great and this great and this great. So, but you can't do that. Like, let's add this part on you. Sometimes people doesn't like it because everybody want to shy, and you somebody with the greatest shot, and you working on his balance. Like, why? I playing hockey 16, 17 years. Like, why? Because you're going to be in draft National Hockey League next year, and you're going to be drafted first round, and then you're going to start playing, and your balance not in the correct position. When you're going to play against the best players in the world, you will recognize that your balance not in the correct position. And I have this experience. And one player playing right now in National Hockey League, and he on the second year of his National Hockey League experience, he started get some observation that his balance not in the proper position. So that's what kind of like, without mentioning the names, but like I'm saying, this is a story. So my work is to combine different prototype of different players. So definitely it was based before not in Matthews and McDavid, because the new generation of players, I will say, we're talking like, I'm pretty old man already, like I'm 56. So I have in my memory the experience to see the biggest players like Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Pavel Bure, and many others playing and Pavel Datsuk, probably the Savard, maybe Bobby Orr, like many players who represent some big interest to see why they're so successful, why they do something different. So in the program, what I create is kind of like find a way to put everybody, like, I will say it's an area of strike for the baseball. When you need to put the ball, I'm not care what happened after this area. I just need to put the ball in this area, because being in this area is an opportunity for the player, growing him as a player. So I not spend the time doing the drills, team drills with them. I'm not doing 2-on-1, 3-on-2. Like, no, they can do it with any coach, other coach.
Right.
I'm like, even my drills, I'm not finished my drill with a shot to the net, because it's totally different skill. It's totally different exercise. So how you can combine biking and doing and driving? You can. You need to sit on the bike and do bike, or you need to sit in the car and do car,
Right.
or in the kayak and do kayak.
Yep.
So the people combine 3, 4, 5 exercise, put a lot of things, go between the cones, then go do that, then pass the puck, then shoot the puck. Listen, this is just professional players can do really with a high quality, and not always.
Right.
But the kid need to break in the different spots. You want to skate fast, go skate fast and dedicate the time, not 15 minutes, not 5 minutes by manual, because manual saying 7 minutes puck handling,
Yep.
6 minutes for crossover left side.
Yep.
Hey, what happened if the person in 6 minutes didn't learn crossover and left side? I need to go back next.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that if you have an amount of people like Canadian. Every single kid playing here hockey, like they have an opportunity to select from huge amount of players. So the filters working. Even in the US, north of US, same thing. Like go Michigan, go Detroit, Boston, New York. Like you have Minnesota. You have so many players. You have everybody playing. So you put the filter, right filter. You filter this is very good, potentially really great player. So and many people has a good eye to recognize the talent.
Yep.
But take the kid who is the second choice, who is not in your selection, and make him be in the first selection. That's my work.
Yeah.
I'm helping the kids from first selection, definitely.
Yeah.
A different stage, different grade of development. Like I'm saying, that's kind of like, and I was witness like in many places how they select the kids, how they work, how like US hockey, how select for the development program, which is great. I'm not against that and all. It's good. But if you add part of the out of selection, you might find another talent who's just not shining in the moment when you observe him. And for me, when I moved to Arizona was like, I will say the difference between Arizona 18 years ago in Mexico was minimum. Like we're lucky to have this professional team for like have professional team there in Arizona at this time. Like it's give little bit of push, but stairs were empty. I was in few games and like maybe 3,500, 5,000 people in the stadium of 20,000. And this time was no. Just in playoff was a couple of times, but it's not particular situation. It's just like out of serious situation. So, but anyway, like I'm saying, when you get work and you have a kids of AA level, the former professional player who won this 4 Stanley Cup coming to you and saying, "This is the only we have."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, how is it only you have? Like that's only we have. It's the best kids." And they all AA, not even triple. Okay, who are these kids? I'm okay. My son, Brendan Lemieux. This is Auston Matthews, very talented young kid. This is Jake DeBrusque. Louis DeBrusque work right now for broadcast team in Arizona Coyotes, so he's gonna skate with us. I said, okay. And another kid, and Johnny Walker, and like, okay, you start to work with the kids and you understand if we're gonna do 2-on-1, everybody gonna beat us forever. Yeah. So I said, okay, Claude, we're going to start skating. We're going to start we're going to start improving. It's not one day work. Right. And I say, no pucks, really no pucks I said, be patient. No pucks for maybe a long time.
I'd love to learn more about kind of how you got into being a skills coach and just kind of understand how all that stuff began.
Well, the story of my work going many years back, when I was working in Mexico. So I born in Ukraine and played there professional hockey and then moved from Ukraine to Mexico in the time when the Soviet Union fell apart. And so I get an opportunity to work with Mexican hockey and actually was coaching the national teams and youth teams there. Like actually, we tried to build. There was some of other friends, one from Canada, one from US. We're trying to build really something similar to ice hockey in Mexico. When I arrived there, it was like 35 players only, like big, nice ice rink. And we dedicate the time to involve people in ice hockey and show them how it's worked and make them feel and make them try. And like I was saying, I think we did pretty good job there. And I think after a certain year, from 35 students, we got pretty much like a whole league in Mexico in one single ice rink. I remember was probably maybe 2 or 3 ice rinks in Mexico City in this time, like regular size ice rinks, owned by under private owners, more recreational way, but we kind of like build the league. I remember we have a league in our best years, probably like 12 PV teams, 8 bantam teams, and maybe 6 or 7 midget teams, and some sports teams. So it was huge. Like in the final games, we remember like we got like almost 2,000 people on the stairs, mariachi, and was big show, fun, a lot of fun. So in this moment, we start to understand that we need to create something like a national team in Mexico, and maybe start participate in different tournaments, actually in US and Canada. And so our first experience was really bad because like it was no chance to compete against the North Americans, actually from Canadian and Americans, because Mexico is a part of North America. But anyway, so, and then, you know, like I decide to switch a little bit in everything and in preparation and told the guys, we have no chance to select the people from, we don't have no chance to select the people from big amount, huge amount of people playing. We just limited the amount of players. So we need to find different quality of our training, totally different quality to pull our level to totally different level. So, and it was not easy because Mexico is country where people like football, soccer more, like that's sport number one. And hockey was like more exotic for many people. But so when I came out and told the kids we need to practice more and we need to like add a few more practice, and I offered them come to 6 o'clock in the morning. The first was not really big effort from anybody to like coming to wake up at 5 and go to the rink. And then because Mexico City is not a small town, like it's huge. It's for some people it's a driving like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe for somebody 15 minutes. But but we did it. We start kind of like implement them a skating program, and I understood after doing that's really give results. And I was at this time, definitely we have no YouTube or any social media. So you just, what you have in your head and what you have in your experience, that's what you apply to teach the people. So, and we start doing that. And I mean, we got good results. I remember like first PV Quebec was not that successful. Second PV Quebec, we won the first game in Colisée de Quebec. First game winning against Canadian team, and like was huge.
Yeah. And
probably we've not played the top division there, but we play international something division. And I remember we beat Kuujjuaq team from north of Canada in 6-5, and we put everybody in shock. Like doesn't matter what level it is, but like if Mexican beat Canadian team, it's something kind of like out of normal.
Yeah.
So, and it was big start. So we start to create the national teams. We start to create use national teams kind of prototype, and start to be kind of like successful. Then we start to participate in different competitions. Mostly like we try to travel close to us, like south of United States. And snowball is from there. We like one of my visit to Arizona, where I'm present living in Arizona and a resident of Arizona. I brought the players with me, and we play some. I don't remember exactly. It was tournament or exhibition game, and we did extremely successful. Like and we got a lot of attention of people in Arizona. So one of my friends lives in Arizona. He mentioned that, like, why you're not coming once and maybe show what you do, like kind of camp. So it was prototype what I'm doing now. So I came first time. I met 6 years old Auston Matthews in this camp, and actually snowball from there. On the second camp I did year after, it already was Brandon Lemieux joined this camp, and Claude Lemieux was around, and kind of like interest from there. Then I met Mike Barnett, who was the GM for for Phoenix Coyotes at this time, and snowball from there. Like, people start to be interested more and more because they see something different what I'm doing, and end of this story, like, they convinced me to move to US from Mexico. I was very nice, established in Mexico with no problem in the life, and kind of like, it's not economic reason why I moved to US, because I'm saying I was established there. I just, in a certain moment, I understood somebody need me more somewhere else. And, like, I will say, definitely the Auston Matthews father, Brian, convinced me to do that. Like, it was, I nicely pressure to me and saying, like, we need you here. The kids really love to work with you, the kids. So I applied for my work visa like regular and get the visa. And my thinking, I was, okay, I'm going to the US maybe for a year or two.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm 18 years here. So, and enjoying some players I help to create and playing now in highest leagues in the world. So that's kind of like a story. And definitely this program grew year through year. Like, I remember my first camps and was like maybe 20 kids, one group, but with the results and the progress, and especially with the different type of social media, which is make people understood better my approach. So the amount of people now in geography is huge. Like, and I physically have no time to visit all the place where I'm invited at the moment.
Right.
I wish, but I didn't create that many coaches who can introduce my system, and, like, I support mostly on my former players and who would, like, play some certain level and now trying to help me, and maybe just a couple of coaches. I'm trying to find them internationally to have the same philosophy, same understanding. I test them, I show them what I do, and I feel how they understand it. If they don't understand, I'm not dealing with them as a coach in like a professional way. I'm just dealing with them as a friendly, and that's it. With all my respect to any coach I see, like, I respect every coach who work with the youth and trying to help them. Yeah. But this is a story. Like, I run the camps in different places. I invited many places just to give my opinion about skating. Still in touch with many National Hockey League players, former and present and future. So this kind of like a little story of my program and myself.
I love it. Well, one thing I definitely hear as you were kind of breaking your philosophy down is there's a couple things that stood out. One was that it really seems that I always call it kind of like a constraints-led approach, which is when you notice what the weak link is and you're thinking, instead of trying to make somebody's biggest asset bigger and make that better, you're coming at it from when you get to the next level, when you move up to whether it's college to pro or whether it's junior to college, it's going to be the constraint. It's going to be your weakest link that's going to all of a sudden be the reason you don't succeed there. And I think that that's something that a lot of players hear, but I think that when you hear somebody explain that and explain how it actually impacts development, I'm curious. So when you take a player, let's say you have it could be like an Auston Matthews. It could also be somebody else that maybe isn't quite as naturally gifted. Do you notice what you'll do with those players in terms of what you would kind of start to do, how you would approach the the weak links? Would there be a certain thing you would attack with that? And how would you kind of think about that?
Well, it's a good question because, like yesterday, I talked with the youth players here in Canada and British Columbia. We have a nice conversation with a youth player, like 11 years old, 12 years old kids. And I told them, wherever you do, it's always certain limits. Like you go doing something and you get in the limits. Your body get in the limits. Any aspects. You want to puck handling, faster puck handling, okay. Where's the limits? Or speed, or stride, faster, or crossover. Limits when you make a mistake. Mistake, if you puck handling, losing puck. If it's crossover, when you just lose the coordination and just fall down.
Yep.
And like that's a limit. Limit for certain age and certain preparation.
Yep.
You ask the player, like, oh, you know how to do the crossover? Yeah, I do crossover perfectly. Okay. And do the 3-4 laps full speed. You start with first lap, second lap, I said faster and faster and faster and faster. On the third lap, he just fell down and like said, I said, this is your limit.
Yep.
But for certain people, limits, it's what they can do at the moment and they're happy what they do. And for some people, limits, it's a 0 point when he need to start the game. Same professional players. You go somewhere, you get on this certain level, call it 0 level. Because you're there, you're not repeating what you know, you're just trying to go up. And for many people, in youth hockey is more easy because they really believe in the future, they really believe in the pro guys, sometimes very conservative mind. Yep. They kind of like wants to be better, but they just trying to use what they have already, which is normal. Like person who already playing National Hockey League, why should he need to be better and find his 0 point? Some players, yes, and I will say Auston Matthews probably one of them. He is always in research. I know his mind is always get better. If he not score 1 game and 2 games, believe me, he is not happy about this. Even getting 4 assists in the game, he's natural to score the goals. He wants to score the goal. He enjoy it, and so that's I know. And some players can play 100 games, not scoring goals, have like 50 assists and be happy too. But they're not curious why I'm not scoring. Same in the youth player. I would say this 0 point is so important in preparation. And sometimes like a player is on 0 point, like I'm not multiple coach. I give you a skill and I push you even to this 0 level, second 0 level. He was on 0 level here, learn to walk, learn to skate, learn to do something, and always get back to some 0 point. I will call it 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. This is the stages of development. There's no limits. Right. No limits. You can always get better. Yep. It's all up to you if you want to go in next 0 level or you want to feel you have you 100% full as a player and you don't want to develop anymore. For some people, this 0 level and no more developing, they're already playing national. And some players just playing AA and maybe just junior B, but they feel we're good. I'm full. I'm 100%. That's my best. I'm just not lucky to be observed and invited somewhere. But because I'm going to skate with higher level team and I'm going to be successful. Because I'm totally, I tell you this story like many years ago. I was in Penticton, British Columbia, like collaborate with a hockey school here many years ago. And I remember brother Sedin arrived here after draft from Vancouver. And this brother Sedin jumped on the ice. I think they were both in the first round and jump on the ice with similar players, like probably, I will say 10 players drafted by National Hockey League and few players American Hockey League. And I remember just the name was a brother of Adam Deadmarsh playing here. And he was a great, I watched him play the day before in the exhibition game. He was one of the best players. On the next day, they jumped on the ice with brother Sedin and other guys. And this guy who was unbelievable yesterday looks like a first time skating, period. The glide, the power, the everything. That's what I'm talking. This is a 0 level for him was. I don't know what it was many years ago. It was like, but yeah. For me and my brain, I have it forever. Like how you can, in one condition, same person is one type of quality, and you see him with totally different eyes, and how he makes his transformation in your eyes being other players who is much higher skill or much lower skill. So many players believe they can be really successful in higher level. They just have no luck. I will say it's not no luck. It's not enough work. They don't want to go through the 0 point. First of all, they don't want to understand that's 100% for them is 0 point for me.
How do you think a player can develop that? And do you think a player can develop that mentality? Because it sounds to me that the thing you're picking up on, and obviously my kind of whole space is mental game as the limiter, and when you unlock that, it allows you to unlock what you're physically capable of. Do you notice there's anything that you mentioned you kind of help guys with the mentality and how they approach things? Is there a certain way you find really helps some guys break through? Is there something you notice with, again, like the star guys you've worked with, that maybe they just had it, or maybe you helped develop it? What did you notice?
I think it's a not perfect recipe for do. Like, it's all individual. Like, you can't get inside of the brain of person. Yeah. Like, it's all relative to the individual IQ.
Yep.
100%. Not just the game IQ. I will say life IQ.
Yep.
Family education. Yep. It's a huge. When the family are on the same page, and I'm not talking the family related to ice hockey, the generally in the life, the value of life they give to their kids, it's so important. The triangle of confidence later between the coach, player, and the family should be always built. If it's not built, something wrong there, and coach critic on the family, or family critic on the coach in the car, or the player don't believe the coach that much, just waiting end of the season, when the season is over, because he's much higher level, and his coach not let him play. He waiting for next season for play for another coach who probably will believe in him more. But like I'm saying, this triangle of confidence is so important, and build the confidence of the player, and show him a ways and desire to work. Many players doesn't know how to work properly. That's another question. It's just general work. You need to work hard. Yeah, we know everybody that. Doesn't matter what you do in the life. We need to leave working hard. Yeah. But okay, I'm ready to work hard. Now show me how to work hard. Yeah. It's not going to the gym and pull the weights for like 3 hours and develop the muscle which not usable in ice hockey. Oh, it's a great guy there, like teaching us how weight, and then coming back with the legs like this, and they say you can make even crossover with these legs.
Right.
He build you absolutely not necessary muscle for this sport, because every sport has specific muscles. That's why the different athletes from different sports looks different. And when the players just define there was somebody to work with in the physical conditioning, and person is just know the subject generally, that's what happen. Sometimes they kill inside the players the possibility to be better. They keep them healthy, yes. They heal, they look ripped and very nice, build the body, but like not playing for hockey, go to bodybuilding or something else, impress the girls on the beach. Yeah, that's totally different. And here is definitely management of family, is management of the coach who work, and coach who has the interest to develop the player. So he give him advices, even direct him with the other coaches. Because if you're not strong in something, or you don't have it inside your program, you recommend your player, like, go with this guy. He's gonna teach you, do something what I don't know how to do, but you can add to your body this part. And we selected, like, I'm always going with standpoint if I send my own kid to skate with some coach. And in certain cases, I say, yeah, I will happy to send him and try. In some cases, never in my life. And then you see this guy on the YouTube and on Instagram, and he's like 60,000, 100,000 followers. And like, oh my God, it's all people who just follow him, he believe, and they put the likes and heart, and like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, no, I'm not sending my son there. Like, this is very, so yeah, like, but like I'm saying, I'm not mention names. And every single coach who can listen to me probably today can think, oh, Boris talking very right about somebody who is really bad. For them, it's too like a fine 0 point. And I'm not the perfect medicine for anybody. Like I just share my experience. And my experience based it on what you as a coach produce during the certain time. Yes, when you have a one player jump on the first round National Hockey League draft and from Arizona, you're definitely so happy, but many people consider it as a luck. Maybe some kid was developed there and was extremely developed and extremely like lucky and wow, unique. Yeah, but then after that 5 6 years, another kid from the same place coming and playing in the same team with him, and then after then another kid from Austria coming and play for another team, and another players come. So you see the kind of like production of the some system. You see like some production on the long term. That's why I believe I have a right to give some advices to somebody because I kind of like have an experience to create and help some players to achieve their dreams. And similar way, like I'm looking at the different coaches, like the names who presently work with some coach is important for me because professional players, smart people, they're not going with somebody just for fun. But when we're talking on development coaches who working on skating and kind of like a build the players, first of all, I see like how many years your school exists. You're saying like 12 years, 15 years. Okay, who is your product?
Right.
I said, well, we have one guy play junior B and one guy almost get KHL, but now he's not playing hockey anymore. And like, okay, thank you, good luck. Next 15 years.
Yeah.
And some schools like I don't know, like I follow like some people. Let's mention the Swedish model.
Yeah.
One player from there, another player from there, another player from there, another player. They say, hey, okay, what happened there? Something happened there. Or here in US, like one brother, two brothers, three brothers, five brothers, fifth brother, state play, all in National Hockey League. Wow, I'm so interested to know how they build this player, like a Staub brothers,
Right.
like Courtnall brothers in the past. Like if you want Bure brothers. So you always find something that people did different than other. Like when two brothers get at the high level, or three, or five, which is amazing. I think it's more easy win the some lottery,
Yeah.
jackpot and some lottery, than make five guys from your family play all National Hockey League. It's amazing. It's a Guinness record. It's something amazing. So from this is how I combine the different styles and how I see the. If I'm interesting to even look at the video of the person and because titles against and the titles when you put the badge here and saying I'm skating coach for Philadelphia Flyers. Okay, I know how the Philadelphia Flyers skating coach work. They invite the girl who is farmer figure skater for preseason. He skated in 5 6 days average. This is working like this everywhere. And so okay, so you work with the guys who already spend the time in life and get successful. You're not skating coach for them. You coach who test them. You not teach them anything. You can't teach anything in 5 days, in 3 days. You can test them and say, well, he's in great shape. He's not. But no, there's somebody who constantly working with somebody and build the skill day by day. That's people who is inside of my interest, and I call them like developing coaches and skating coaches.
Right. Yeah. That's why I have a hard time even labeling what I do when I work with players because to some extent, the way I think about the game is yes, of course, you can specialize in, like you do, you specialize, it sounds like, in skating as a more fundamental starting point. But the idea that that's the way to teach someone is, oh, I only work on the mental and we don't integrate anything else into their development makes no sense. And so I think at the end of the day, I think any good coach is really just a development coach. You're just trying to develop the best possible player. And you might have a specialty, but I think at the end of the day, if you act like that specialty is the only thing, and I also could name names about some people who focus too much on that, and if you say, oh well, the solution is you just got to be a good skater and you'll make the NHL. You just got to figure it out. If you just get really good at shooting, or you just get really confident, and that'll get you to where you want to go. It's it might work on the internet and it might get you more views. And I know because I'm in that space of trying to get views as well at times. And it's realizing that what people want to hear and what's true, or at least has been proven based on, like you said, the results people are getting, it's very obvious that it's not as simple as just isolate down to one thing and say that's the solution and sell that product and everybody's going to be good. I almost think you think of it from an integrated approach of look at what the player actually needs and then say, hey, maybe you don't even need me right now. You might need to just go and talk to a psychologist or a mental coach, or you might just need to go work with a physical trainer. Does that
Correct.
sound accurate?
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. But you need to be honest
Yeah.
with the player, and you need to be honest because for some people, still a business, so they
Yep.
still living, and so like if you can help the person, you just not don't spend the time of him and don't just put him with somebody else by your recommendation, but somebody recommendation by your investigation to make him better. Because end of this story, if you at some part participate in his development, you will have all benefits in the future.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
look at Auston Matthews. Yes, I spend a very big time of my life being like part of his family, living in his house from young age. But getting older, getting like close to National Hockey League, he's need to more specific work. Like that's how he get with the people who help him in shooting and get the people. He's playing in Arizona with a different coach when I was not available for him. I was traveling and I have no available. I recommend him to play with the coach and the team. He played a couple of years successfully in the AAA team, 15 years old, which all these coaches make a good help, like, but their names on his development, and but my name is always on his development. I'm not pretend to tell like, hey, I teach him everything. No, but I establish something in his mind, maybe which allowed him to even work with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the building blocks.
It's a building. From the baby I built him to the young man who start showing the big talent. And definitely when in US you start showing the talent, you have many people want to help you right away. Like right away. You have a best there. Yeah, he was put to development program, definitely one of the best program in US and maybe in the world.
Yeah.
And he was exposed to the probably one best coaches in the nation who is doing the great job to represent the country on the highest level. They have no chance to miss big mistake. The small mistake is losing final game.
Yeah.
That's a small mistake. They have a chance, but not big mistake, not qualified to semifinals. Yeah. That's reality. So these people have a big responsibility. Yeah. So, such as, yeah, I have before preparing him to this level, that these people just take this from me and go do their stuff, in which I don't know many of coaches who work with Auston Matthews probably, but I appreciate anybody who helped him to be what he is now and support on my work what I did with him before. Yeah, it's definitely.
Absolutely. I think you're almost describing pretty much the foundation of being a good coach is being focused on the athlete's success, regardless of if that means you get recognition, regardless if it makes you as a coach look good. It's I give everything I can, and when that's not the best fit, being willing to be honest and say, you could probably lie and say, hey, I could make more money. I could try to work with this guy longer. I could get my name on more things, but is that the most important thing for this player? And I think that's an integrity thing. I think that's a character thing that I don't know. I'm young, so I obviously can't compare to earlier, but I see a gap in character in not just young people, not just coaches, but just in general, the ability to say, I know this might sound good to say this is the right way to do something. I know it may sound good to work with Auston the whole time and always use his name every day, and that probably would have made you more famous, but that's also not what's going to help him the most. And it's probably going to be for your own benefit, not for his. And I think that's such a it's a fine line to walk that I'm curious how you even think about navigating that, because I just think about this a lot as I start to work with more higher level guys, that being a good coach is deeper than just saying, "Hey, I got some cool stuff to say." It's really it's a big philosophy that you have to think about. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you start working with a young kid who is like 6 7 years old, or maybe 5, they doesn't know much about the big stars in the hockey, like not many of them.
yeah.
So when you trying to impress the young player saying like, hey, I was coach for this guy, and the kid look at me and say, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's no choice. You don't need to impress. You need to impress the kid, what he teach him and what he make it better. When he start to feel involved in this sport, he will recognize later that my coach was also coach for this guy. But if I do a bad job, he will never play hockey. He will never interested to know who is who and where it was. Like, but many people put on the front page, I was a coach for this guy. I was a coach. Like, yeah, I'm definitely proud. I wish many coaches in the world be proud as I proud about my former students. Definitely.
Yeah.
But for the present generation of people, young generation, if you still want to create the new stars, you need to forget what you did before. You start from 0 point. You start from 0 point. When Auston Matthews was drafted in the first number and first round, I was kind of like happy, but depressed at the same time. It was a part of my life to build somebody who, and one day I sit and say, what I'm doing next? I quit.
Yeah.
I sit just, I put my picture on the wall and just gonna enjoy my picture and saying, oh, great Boris, like, wow. Or I'm gonna do something else. And one day I said, okay, my son playing. Oh, and my son has a friend and I just quit in my mind what I did before. I get that 0 point to create somebody else. And that's coming why this Matthew Nice came, hating. If I'm stopped doing this stuff, probably Matthew Nice not will be playing right now National Hockey League. Or Marco Rossi from Austria. He came with skate with me for a couple of years, and I believe I leave something in him and promote him from Austria and Switzerland to just be successful in US.
Yeah.
Like, it's a mind, my mind, like, always goes zero. I'm always interested to help and spend my time with the young kids. For me, the more depressive thing when I have a camp and I have like 16, 17 years old, bunch of the guys of like 14, 15, and 12 kids of like young age, like 6, 7, 8. For me, it's big depressed. I want to have like 50, 60 players, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Yeah. Instead having maybe less of the bigger guys. The pyramid need to be like this, not like this, because the huge amount in the base give you a chance to have more successful product in the end. And people trying to work with the high level end because they have no skill to teach.
Right.
They have no skill to teach somebody and how build them from the young age. So they decide to do what they know better, but introducing them like a skating coach.
Yeah.
Take the kid who first time put the skates on and teach him and show me what you did with him in 1 year. And I will recognize you as a skating coach. But if you skate with Evgeny Malkin, because Evgeny Malkin only, for example, I'm not saying like, or somebody else, let's call Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Smith live around this rink where you skate, and only ice time he find, it's jump with you on the ice.
Yeah.
He skate one time in his life, shoot the puck, make a picture with you, and then you put this picture saying, oh, I'm skating coach for this dude. He playing like in the moon.
Yeah.
And tons of this. The people believe this is, and it's not. Some people believe this is make them a good publicity. Yeah. Some people believe it's develop them they make them attract more people for their program. If the program is not successful, people attracting for 1 year not coming back.
Yeah.
Because even the not very smart people understand where they develop, where they not develop, where it's just show off, but where is it really developing?
Yeah.
Where they leg sore, where they feel different, when they sleep as a baby after they spend the time on the ice. That's kind of like philosophy
Yeah.
in which I'm trying to implement, and the kids, and I mean, start to mix a lot like presence, because the professional players I built kind of like a youth age is one part of my story, and now I have a players who coming already being professional players and asking for the help.
Right.
And change somebody, change the habit of somebody is much harder than to build him from the beginning. And the early you exposed to the right training process, you have more chance to be successful. And some people are already successful, but they need to add something. So it's totally different approach to work with them.
I know after studying Belfry, that's why I was saying I hope you write a book soon on a lot of the stuff you've done because I know with Belfry's book, which I keep up there right now, I've studied that and his approach so much because I've always appreciated that he's very open about developing somebody like you said who's already good is a very different animal and it's its own complexity. And like you said, I think that you understand that the true ability of a development coach, like somebody who can really develop somebody, is taking somebody who isn't great and then being able to help them and say, hey, let's develop this kid from a young age. And if I'm successful at that, then that means I can actually develop somebody versus tweaking like a car mechanic going in and saying, can I build a car from scratch almost versus can I just change one little, twist one thing on the engine and all of a sudden now it's a little faster. And I think both are valuable, obviously, but I think that we can, if you don't think about it, you think of them as the same thing. And like you said, yeah, you can slap your name on whoever you want, but how many people have you actually worked with for 5 years, 10 years, and what have you actually done with them? I think is a way better measure of actual skill as a coach.
Yeah, like every single thing in our life required the attention of specialists. And
Yeah.
how important to find the proper specialist.
Yep.
When even the building a house, if you build your own house, you need people who doing electricity in your house, who do plumbery in your house, the people who do painting or whatever.
Yep.
So you as a person, you have experience to work with electricity. You as a person how as a plumber work. But anyway, you know that the professional make it much better than you. You observe, you learn, but that's how the specialists need to be in the area. Somebody who doing roof, not the same guy who put your windows.
Yeah.
And this higher level professional, they have a choice to pick more and search for more professional, specifically in the area which they need to develop.
Yep.
When they don't have that tools. They have no access to good nutriologists. They have no access on the good off-ice trainer. They have no access to some guy who doing massage to them, who calculate the rhythm of the heart. On so many things, the professional guys have the use kids not, and they just leave the Google and the family and coach. That's all support they have. So definitely the kids in the more a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Compared to professional guys. But like I'm saying, the kids need the same specific work and something specific as a professional. Yes. The kids need to work on his skating, and this skating, not the 5 minutes a day and not 20 minutes. I was invited by many coaches in US say, okay, we build the plan. You're going to come every single practice for give them 15 minutes of power skating. I said, okay, I'm not coming. And why? You're not interested? No, I'm not interested. Let me teach you speak Spanish 15 minutes a day. How long are you going to take to learn?
Yes.
And especially if you learn Spanish on Monday, French on Tuesday, and Japanese on Wednesday, it's going to take your life. You're going to learn a couple of words.
Yeah.
You're never going to dominate one language. If you want to learn the language, you need to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Spanish. And next week, repeat Monday, Tuesday, at least a couple of weeks or 21 days to get habit. How you can help somebody. So I'm coming, skate the kids for 15 minutes. They're going to say, oh, Coach Boris was with us. Coach Boris teach us. Yeah. I get my payment. I go home. I'm happy to buy my ice cream. And on the end, what the product is.
Right.
No product. But the people are going to mention, oh, they work with a coach Boris. Who? Boris coach you? Come on. But he's not going to mention Boris coached me for 15 minutes. And from this 15 minutes, we took us 5 minutes to drink water and get on the ice late.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not playing these games. It's nice title. It's nice. We want you. Come on. No, you don't want me. If you want me, you invite me for build the system inside your program. You adjust your program to what I need.
Right.
Like I did in Okanagan Hockey Academy in Denver latest. I told them my program is like this. They say, okay, we have a whole week with you. Please come. We're not playing them. We're not a game, no game situation. Just work with them, please.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it twice already. I expect better results.
I'm curious. This is a relatively big question, but I know it's the off season for a lot of players, and a lot of guys, they don't, like you said, it's the access to a high level coach is not always easy, and like you said, you can't be in every place at once. I'm curious if a player was to say, what could I take, even just a few principles or strategies to kind of think about planning an off season out for themselves in terms of the skill side of it, and maybe it's the skating, maybe it's stick handling, shooting. What would you maybe say to those guys? And I know the true answer is it's way more complex than I can explain in 5-10 minutes, but I'm just curious what you might say to somebody like that to maybe help them out.
Well, different group of people who need a different advice. I will
Right.
say I'm more pragmatic what this real life is. So I know that you need to learn walk first before you play the guitar.
Right.
And some people playing guitar before they learn walk.
Right.
They're trying to do, but it's not normal. You need to learn how to talk before you write the song. And this is, and some people just believing that shooting the puck is going to help them be better.
Right.
It's like playing guitar without learning how to walk. Everything should be organically. I mean, you work on your skating, for example, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Yes, and the time when you may give a rest to the one part of the body, you pay the other part of the body to build. Like you can go shooting, you can do off ice training, maybe 3 plus 2 off ice during. That's kind of like a formula, a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, it's always very specifically for each age and preparation, because as older we get, our recovery time is much longer than the kids. Kids sleep on the back seat in the car and like fresh and jumping again. I try to put an adult sleep in the back of the car. You're gonna say, "Oh, I'm hurt everywhere. I need to bed. I need to sleep. I need to recover." So, as older we are, totally different time of recovering. So, if the person not recover, to teach him something, it's impossible. When you really not recover this, it's really hard. So like even you're shooting, even you whatever you do, even you learn English or learn Spanish or math, if you're not recovered, your brain not working properly. You need to be fully recovered and ready for as a sponge absorb the new information. And the stage is very simple. Like first stage, you absorb the information. Second, you try. Third, when you try again and try again and over, when you get better, you repeat everything. You just fixed it in your muscle memory. After you fixed everything in muscle memory, you go in next level, repeat again to make it automatically and much faster and more explosive. This how it's work. How it's work like in my opinion. So to give a specific formula for the young player, like do this and this and this, I think that they need to coordinate the body like and have perfect skaters. Then we're gonna talk about creative side and shots. And I know the players who play National Hockey League and learned to shoot inside the National Hockey League already. The shot was terrible. And player played for 10 years, play Washington Capitals, play Philadelphia, play, I know him personally from young age. Not gonna mention the name, but it was a true. It was a true because his coach not allowed him to shoot the puck. They play with a wood stick and not allowed him to shoot the. He never developed the skill of shooting puck, but his skill skating and skill puck handling was enough to play National Hockey League. And he learned to shooting puck usually inside the National Hockey League.
Wow.
So it's never late, especially small things, smart part like shooting, puck handling. It's always addition to your major part, which is skating, because the player's moving the puck with the legs, not with the hands. To move the puck from one side to another side, you need to move your legs.
Right. Absolutely. I love it. So biggest thing I want to wrap up with and really just get your kind of summary thoughts on is, if you were to kind of leave this podcast leave someone with some clear advice of, what would you recommend, guys who are going through potentially youth hockey, they're trying to develop their skill set, and they're obviously, probably not going to be somebody who's maybe 5 or 6, but maybe it's a parent listening to this or players who are in that range of 10 to 20. And I know that's a big range, but do you think there's anything you'd recommend in terms of things that they should start to maybe look into or explore more? Not necessarily a prescription of like do step 1, do step 2, but maybe a place to start to look to expand their knowledge, to start to look at the game from a, more of your perspective, maybe, so they can kind of grow their game.
Well, first of all, who decide to still living a dream, I recommend him still living the dream. It's definitely, if you give up in your mind a little bit, that if it's not this way, maybe I'm going this way, maybe going this way is all good. I can still play hockey. I will say better not do that way, because it's better to occupy your brain with something else and be successful in different areas. Maybe not even sports, or maybe some business and other things. So if you're living a dream, you work for your dream, learn to how make you find your 0 point, this stair from where you need to jump to another level. The major mistake of many youth players, they successful in youth level. They play teams. They got in good organization, and they playing really successful even in U16, even in U18, getting in nationals, and then they stopped because they too long enjoying what they did in the past. You need to erase in your brain everything you did in the past if you want to open the doors for you in the future. You need to find a totally different way and very professional way to work things out regarding your body, regarding your nutrition, regarding your discipline, personal discipline, and something you did before at the youth level, as it's U16, U18 triple level, it's not working in the future for be professional. It's a totally different level of personal discipline. When you're doing some stuff which is cost you a lot of work, you organize your life in totally different way. What time you wake up, how you listening, what type of exercise are you doing in the morning, what type you're doing in the afternoon, what kind of nutrition. If you think you're gonna eat bacon every day and be very, very healthy, it's not true. You need veggies, you need different type of vitamins. It's a big package, but like I'm saying, the people who live a dream, they search for what they need. They're not living the past when they play youth hockey and were helped by parents, by coach a little bit. So when you 18 years old, goes, let's say 16, you need to start to look at you in a totally independent individual who looking for better search. If somebody's saying, wow, we have a skating there, like many big guys coming, we have a scrimmage, look at this different point. Is this scrimmage is positive for you, or you just going there for enjoy your life? Or maybe it's better to work in some aspect of your skating or your shooting instead spending 2 hours just playing. Where you play, you're not improving the level. You can improve your physical condition a little bit, but you're not improving your level. You just use what you get before and use it. If you're not on the level of National Hockey League, it's mean before you get something, but it's not enough. You need to find this piece of puzzle to make you skilled enough and strong enough to play in a higher level. But if you're just going and play with the guys, one guy from Junior A, one guy from NHL, he was drafted, and we're just gonna skate. One of the famous players one day jumped on the scrimmage in Arizona, during the COVID, when tons of the National Hockey League guys came just for fun to skate because Arizona was open state. We didn't have much restriction to close the ice rinks. And one player, pretty famous player, jumped on the scrimmage, skate with them for 15 minutes, came out and told me it's waste of time. And the players on the ice were like players from probably every single team from National Hockey League, but they have fun. And this guy told me, I don't here to have fun, I'm here for work.
Right.
And he said, it's waste of time, and walk out. So I learned from somebody else too, like how you analyzing the situation. And this person say like, I don't want to play like a all-star game. It's not fun. I want to develop. So this is a message for the youth players. When somebody recruits you to go to play just a scrimmage, I'm not saying scrimmage is bad. Sometimes you need it. But it's a just scrimmage. Every day is scrimmage because somebody trying to make you happy and fun. Think about this. If this really develop you as a player on different level. Because the guy you playing scrimmage against, who was drafted to NHL, he's probably do something outside of the scrimmage. And you believe that scrimmage is the only thing you need to get better, especially playing with high-level guys. What are you going to learn from them? You're just going to see, like in the movie theater, the movie, and you're not going to repeat the same thing. In the circus, you see the acrobats doing great, amazing stuff, but try to repeat it.
Yeah.
So this is a message for these young guys, because sometimes they're very proud to jump with a pro guy and skate with him. And they're saying, wow, I skate with a pro guy. Yeah. But pro guy going to play National Hockey League after that is a part of his fun. Maybe he just relaxing his muscle in this scrimmage.
Yep.
Maybe just take a pressure away for the whole week what he did and training individually with somebody or by himself. And you just every day different names, and you go and go and go, and for the whole summer you're just playing scrimmage. End of the story. You get back in your team and playing at absolutely same level. So this is a message: be selective. Be selective with the coaches you pick. Be selective with information that people trying to sell you. Be selective with even be selective with you in your mind, what you're trying to think about and how you realize your dreams. Because getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning and sleep late and thinking, I'm sleep my 9 hours. Yeah, but you're losing something so important. You sleep 8 o'clock or you sleep 9 o'clock. It's not the same when you sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning, because the really recovering deep sleep is happening in certain hours of the night. It's physiology. You want to keep younger, you want to keep stronger, you need to learn this physiology. You need to know which hour corresponds to better sleep, the deep sleep. Yeah. When you have it's not long, all night long. It's just certain hours during the night when your body really recovers. Yeah. And young people don't understand that. They believe they good. I sleep 1 o'clock, I sit in the computer and play Fortnite or something till 1 o'clock. Yep. And then get up at 11. Just remember, somebody get up at 7 and did something positive and sleep well and sleep with the quality of sleep 100% better than you. And somebody who didn't eat before they sleep the pizza or something at 10 or 11 because he's not sleeping, he's still hungry, it's normal. But if you sleep at 9, you will get up in the morning, eat healthy breakfast or something and go work out, run, do something by your choice, by what you need. Yep. That's advice. That's advice for the youth players at the older age, and this is advice for the parents who are trying to guide the kids the young age. They want to see their kids successful in the same time the kids sleeping at 11 o'clock at night. Like, tell me how it's possible. So this is a message, typical message. And what you do, wherever you do, is just believe in yourselves, believe in what you search for. It's very easy now, like online, a lot of information. I know it's not many positive, but like you search and you follow the experience of somebody who is successful. That's the best way. Yep. Follow experience, see what his day, how he looks like. It's many things from interviews, many things with a book, printed book. So it's interesting. Like now I know, like in September will be released a book about Auston Matthews, the big book. I think September 23rd. about his life. Buy this book, just read it, because many people inside, I'm pretty sure I was a part of this book. They interview me and I give my part, and I'm pretty sure other people who help Auston get where he is give their opinion, and that's hopefully this is going to be a really good book to read for many people. And so search not necessarily Auston Matthews, search the things from McDavid, and now it's funny stuff. You have, like yesterday we see with Duncan Keith, I showed him one of my students who play. He was in Arizona and moved. His little kid, like 7 years old, moved to Montreal, and he's really spectacular there. And I showed Duncan. Duncan was amazed, like, wow, this kid is amazing. And right away at him, a little kid of 7 years old, Duncan Keith, follow him on Instagram. So the kid sent me happiness and 7 years old saying, do you know who follow me? Duncan Keith. I didn't tell him like I'm with him or something. Like it's just interaction through the social media with somebody, high-level athletes. And if you send him some message, maybe somebody they have no time to answer, but sometimes if they recognize what you're doing, they can answer you. It all depends how smart question you give. If you ask him autograph on sign and stick, he probably has 1,000 of these people asking the same thing. But if you ask him about his story, like, when do you remember when you was 7 years old, how was your day was? Believe me, it's going to reflect. Some of them, they will answer you. It's definitely, if our president right now, Donald Trump, answer the question of Instagram to the people, like, why the professional players can answer. It's a miracle of the century. Like, we have this interaction now. We can find any person. Yeah, but just be smart to ask the smart questions, and definitely you will be benefits of their answers.
I love that.
I am trying to answer every single good question on Instagram that people send it to. And any language. I speak 5 languages. I'm trying to send them a language as I know, if not in English. So, but I definitely pay attention to every single smart, doesn't matter what age. It's a small kid or big kid or parent or different country, hockey country, not hockey country. I mean, options. You just need to move one finger to do something. You can't just live a dream without do anything.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Boris, I'm so grateful you came on. This has been an awesome conversation, and I can't wait to have more.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and we're still in touch.